Ultimately, what I'm saying is nobody worries more about the economic future for our business than I do.
Correct.
So much so that I'm looking at Axios.
Sure.
And I'm looking at Associated Press articles.
Sure.
And if there's something here that gives me hope and makes me feel positive,
that's great. Yeah.
I kind of love it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the hope for a lot of stores going into 2024 is that people's economic anxieties abate a bit and they feel confident spending money on things that are not crucial to their living.
I feel confident on everybody spending more money on comics.
I love it.
In the Midwest, you know the best is there waiting, so come and join the conversation. Eyes to approve, fan and artist and creator too. This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. It gets hard, then it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers,
the lowest of all entertainment.
a comics industry business podcast with
The scummiest of the scum, the lowest of the low, the stinkiest of the stinky.
Well, hello, Dale. Dale Bush.
And Prince Pretty, Patrick Brower.
As this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business
Podcast?
Yeah, it's about fish. I like a nice
It's a pivot.
Atlantic salmon.
It's a pivot. I don't have a lot of thoughts on fish.
Wait, I had salmon this weekend, but it wasn't Atlantic. It was
It's pronounced salmon.
it's a different, like Tony Salmon's, the old Marvel artist. Don't you remember he did Dakota North?
Is he a fish man? I'm sorry. Is he a fish person?
I don't know. I never met the fish person in real life.
Okay.
Anyway, we're supposed to be starting with the big stories of the week and how they affect our running a business.
Okay.
So my question to you is, having all the same facts that I do,
Yes.
do you think Bill Belichick is going to go coach the the Los Angeles Chargers?
I probably, even though I think it's probably going to be a thing where he's there for like a year, it's a total failure, and then he just goes and works for Amazon or ESPN or whatever anyway.
As an analyst?
Yeah, which he inevitably will.
Sure.
Like, not like
no, because they'll make him wear like a shirt and tie.
I think he would do it for like on-air talent. He didn't ever want to do it as a coach, but like I think if they were paying him a bunch of money to put on a shirt and tie, he'd probably do it. Or maybe they won't make him. Maybe part of his brand is just wearing like a sleeveless hoodie, so it'll just be like that's what he'll wear when he's sitting next to Kurt Menefee or whatever. I like saying Kurt Menefee. It's a fun name.
It's a good name for a good broadcaster. If I'm in the store, if you're in the store, you're in a suit, tie,
correct.
Sometimes jacket, sometimes sweater vest, sometimes vest.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm in the store, I'm usually in a vest and a collared button-down shirt, a tie if it's any day but Tuesday. Tuesdays I don't wear tie, but I keep my shirt buttoned all the way up. You know why? Because if it's unbuttoned, the collar messes with my beard.
Oh yeah,
and it makes it look less professional. But we have a dedicated look. Now, if someone is hanging out with me outside of the store, I am never wearing a tie.
No, same here.
And my shirts are less dressy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're outside of the store, you're very much more casual than people are used to.
Yes, it's been said. Disappointingly, it's been said to me. Yes.
But that being said, I use an app called Marco Polo, which is a video messaging app. Not a chatting app because it's not back and forth, but you are sending completed videos to another person to view. It's like texting, but with video.
Okay, but like a group chat with specific people. You're not just like posting them and then people can
Correct.
watch them.
Yeah, it can be to a group of people, it could be to a single person.
Okay.
And it's a great way to keep in touch with people who are not local or people you see all the time.
And people who you maybe would want to not just have the impersonality of like typing in a text message and no one calls anyone anymore. So that's right out.
Yeah, don't be weird, don't call. But I think that the idea of a video is better because it's easier to do, quite frankly.
Okay.
Like I don't, typing out a text, you try to be brief.
Mm-hmm. I don't like taking videos of myself.
Fine, don't be on the app.
Oh, I won't. I'm just saying.
You're not.
Okay, it wasn't. I'm participating in a conversation. I wasn't trying to.
How dare you?
I wasn't trying to like denigrate the concept of Marco Polo.
Yeah, Wendy Richter.
It's a visual gag. No one's gonna get that.
We were talking about a visual thing. I was just trying to get you to change the subject.
Ready to do it. Changed.
Okay. But my point is, I've been Marco Poloing with people in the industry this week for
work.
For reasons and things. And each time my appearance is considerably more casual.
Like than the one before it, or than they're used to?
Well, both.
Oh, okay.
Like comic book T-shirt.
Okay.
And then last night,
Patrick is slowly shedding layers in these videos.
I just worked out, so I was just in my sleeveless workout shirt. And the point is the subject.
You don't want to see your final form.
So it may be abrupt for some people who have only ever seen me in person in a shirt and tie.
Is there a Marco Polo filter where you can just have like a vest display over you?
You can just have it be a still photo.
That's not right.
An image of you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And
I feel like that misses the point of the app, even though I would not participate in the app.
If you play for Marco Polo Plus, you can live interject.
What does that mean?
Like if if you're recording a video and somebody's watching it live, you get a little notification like, "Oh, Dal Bush is here."
Is that so? It's not a thing where you film it and then upload it. You film it and it's uploading while you're filming it. So, like, I'm curious how someone can live interject if you recorded something and uploaded it, but it's not recording and uploading.
It's live uploading.
Okay, got it.
But if nobody sees it, you can delete it.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, you can delete it even if they've seen it. Who cares?
Sure.
And also, if you pay for Marco Polo Plus, you can save your videos. If you don't, they'll get deleted.
Oh, okay.
And who cares? This isn't meant to be.
It's not archival. That's not what you want.
Yeah. But if you have the Plus, you can jump in to what someone is saying, and then like there'll be a little circle in the middle of the screen of them. Like they're going to be a couple seconds behind of what you were saying.
Okay.
But it is, so there is that component too. But that's only if you have Plus.
Right.
And Plus is like $65 a year. So it's not a thing that I normally have. Unless somebody else pays for it, they get the option of giving somebody a free month or two of Plus. Which there's a group of people where we're all in different states that at some point everybody has done that.
Okay.
But I don't feel like re-upping my yearly fee.
Sure.
Money is a premium nowadays, and I don't waste it on app accessories.
Yeah, I can see that.
What I would waste it on would be a half-off $100 Hallmark TARDIS ornament.
So normally $100, $50 is what the markdown price is.
Yes, I believe we started talking about this last week.
We may have.
On this very podcast, but a lot of people might not have listened to last week because it was
I don't
episode 666, so it's pretty spooky. It was haunted. Cursed. It was definitely cursed. No one said anything about all of the backward masking or the slowed down demon voices and stuff, which they had to suffer through for like a minute plus to get into the episode,
House
and
rules.
then out of it.
No witches at ringside.
But I didn't do it during the episode. Anyway, I found that there was a Hallmark store. Got a cough. Also, I covered the microphone, but I know that doesn't do anything. As having edited last week's episode where I was coughing a lot, which I just realized I've been coughing all week.
Everyone's sick nowadays, Patrick. That's what January's like.
Sick of comics. That is not true.
That is not true, actually. Comics are really great right now.
So
this week had some good books.
I was going to be in Downers Grove over the weekend. I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit that store. So to recap, the TARDIS wasn't available to purchase online. It was only available in store. And because it's half off, not many stores have it. But the Hallmark website does tell you who has it.
Which store currently has it in stock according to the website.
And there's a lot of Hallmark stores. So there was one in the area I was going to be.
So many Hallmark stores.
So many. So I drove out, and it wasn't that far from where I was supposed to be, so it wasn't that far out of my way. And I get there, and it was a Sunday afternoon, and there's a decent amount of people roaming around, and there's a large section of discounted Christmas merchandise. And they had a lot of stuff. They had a lot of comic book things, but the comic book ornaments, and this all started because Gina Challenger gave me an Avengers #1 cover ornament Hallmark did this year, which was 3-dimensional and had the figures popping off the cover.
Sure.
And then I found out that they had done an Amazing Fantasy 15 last year, so I went digging to see what was available. So this year's superhero stuff, they did a movie Wonder Woman, a movie Shazam,
Okay.
Funko Pop Batman and Robin.
Okay.
movie Groot, movie Rocket.
Okay.
None of those I really care about having as ornaments.
Not really.
But it's neat that they had them. And they did a Matt Smith 11th Doctor ornament,
Okay.
which I did get from my niece Julia. And they did a Silent, which I did not get because I don't really care. And while these are considered Christmas ornaments, there's nothing Christmassy about them. They're not like
they're
with a
just a
Santa
thing
hat.
you could put on a tree.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the TARDIS was freestanding, and it spins on multiple axes and lights up and makes sounds. I'm like, that's cool.
Yep.
I have a lot of TARDIS representation in my home,
Sure.
and I don't need this, but it was half off.
Yeah. So it feels like you're getting a deal, which makes it more valuable.
Yeah, I could literally go buy it online right now. Don't want to.
No.
So I go to the store, and this whole story is a story about the retail experience
Mm-hmm.
and me as a customer and the Hallmark employee as an employee
Got it.
and how each person interacts in this situation.
Okay.
Now, when I saw that it was available at this store last Friday, and I knew I was going to be in that area on Sunday, I said, I could call and see if I can pay for it over the phone and then just pick it up on Sunday. But I didn't do that.
Sure. Because you weren't able to do an online purchase for that individual
Yes, it is
store.
only available in the store.
Right, but you couldn't buy something from that store on the website. You're only buying stuff from like a central hub, like a Hallmark website.
Correct. It wouldn't be from that location.
Right.
Like if it was available for online purchase, you'd just be getting it from Hallmark
Right.
in general.
And they didn't have it.
It wasn't an item that was available online.
Okay.
It was only in stores. So, Dal, I'm asking you, as
Mhm.
someone who knows me and works in retail, why did I not call that store and ask to buy it over the phone?
Because you've had to ring up purchases over the phone before, and it's kind of a pain. It makes you stop what you're doing when you're in the store, and you might be working on something or working with another customer, and suddenly you have to drop everything for a transaction that is cumbersome. And then even when you ring it up, it's like, how long are you going to be sitting on this thing for? When is this person going to come get it?
And even though I knew I was coming in 2 days, I didn't want to be that customer. I didn't want to cause a problem, make them regret the transaction, and just take up away part of their day, even though it would be selling something.
Right. And they'd, I'm sure, be happy to get rid of it.
So I didn't call. And I think everybody listening knows where this story is going. I get out there on Sunday. I go in. It's a decent-sized store at a strip mall. Has a grocery store in it, but not a chain store. It's in an area where I grew up that used to have a toy store in the corner, but is now a Dollar Tree.
Okay.
Used to have a Venture in that strip mall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it have a Silo too?
I don't know what Silo is.
Silo was like a pre-Circuit City.
Okay.
Silo was like an electronic store chain. There was one. There used to be one on 75th Lamont. It was in.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the.
That's exactly where this is.
I'm trying to think of. I'm trying to orient myself, north south. It was in the southeast corner of 75th Lamont.
Okay. The Home Run Inn Pizza Mall.
Yes. Yep.
The Just Ducky Mall.
I will take your word for that.
Yep. So I go in, I find the Christmas stuff, no TARDIS. The employee comes up and says, "Hey, can I help you with anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was looking for a Doctor Who TARDIS. It's about 10 inches." And then I did the classic Dal Bush ordering pancakes mime.
You have to show how large a stack of pancakes
Just
is.
invert your hands to vertical instead of horizontal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's exactly what I did.
If anyone wants to know what that looks like, come to the store
And ask.
Ask me how I order pancakes. I'll show you.
Don't get your hopes up.
Maybe if Patrick remembers, which is less unlikely than if I had to remember it, I will try and do it for the Instagram video. On
Oh, all right. Yeah, sure.
You got to remind me, though.
Sure. I think the key into that would be, Dal, how big is your stack of comics this week?
No, it's got to be pancakes. If you don't tell me pancakes, I'm going to be like, what are you talking about?
All right.
You have to tell me.
That being said,
do the thing where you say how that you want a stack of pancakes.
the couple of people that came in and referenced the last thing you said to reference and then wait for the pause, you didn't need to pause.
No.
You remembered right away.
Weirdly, I did remember it, which I'm sorry I ruined the bit by actually remembering something I said in the past.
Which was
way out of character. I don't remember. Oh, it was the advent calendar.
Yeah. How do you?
I had to remember the word, but I did. There was a pause, and then I remembered advent calendar. But I wasn't. I wasn't baffled. I wasn't like, "What is Patrick talking about?" Which is what usually happens.
Good microphones now, and I can't stop coughing. And then you get that like high pitched whine that starts it.
The Muttley thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
You do that, you're gonna make yourself cough again.
I am.
Jesus
I definitely am. So, do you need help? Do you have the TARDIS? She frowns and says, "No, I'm sorry, we sold out." And I said, "Aw, dang. I came here because the website said you had it." But she's like, "Yeah, I didn't work yesterday. We might have sold it. I don't know. You should have called. You should have called." The thing that I deliberately didn't do to not be a burden, to not be a pain. And then she's like, "Do you want me to call another store in the area to see if they have one?" And I said, "No, I traveled from a distance to get here, and I'm not in this area often." And she said, "Do you want me to call a store that's on your route home to see if they have it?" And I just said, no, thank you. And I didn't like storm out or anything. I still looked at some other ornaments just to look at them.
Sure.
But then I left, and she did nothing wrong.
Nope.
She was very polite, helpful, went out of her way to offer a solution.
Yeah.
I still left disappointed.
I'm trying to think, in a scenario like that, I think I would be kind of in her shoes, where while I see what you're saying with not wanting to like burden a retail employee with a phone request, I would rather take the time to say, yes, we have it, or no, we don't. Not necessarily bring it up for them, but just let them know we have it or don't have it, than have to tell somebody like, you wasted a trip. Because I always feel not guilty, but a little like, you're upset now and I can't solve that. Because again, like the situation you had where you were upset about the situation, and it's no one's fault. It's not her fault.
No, not at all.
But I'm sure she was
I
like,
fully acknowledge that.
I wish I could fix this, and I can't, because the only way to fix it is for you to have called before you came.
And I'm more disappointed in me being disappointed. That's
Sure.
my takeaway.
Yeah.
Like, oh, even in this situation, when everything was done correctly except me getting the item, I'm still...
You wasted a trip.
I'm still annoyed, and it wasn't even that much of a trip.
But you still wasted it.
Right.
Like, you went out of your way. It's not like you were at the place next door and went like, oh, I'll just pop in real quick.
But even as a consumer who's also a shop owner, it's still like, oh man, that still like kind of bothered me a little bit.
Sure.
And I also admit that my favorite phone calls at the store, when somebody calls and says, "Do you have this comic?" And I say, "Yes, we do." Then when they say, "Great, I'll be right in." So I don't have to put it on hold.
Right.
I don't have to worry about them coming in or not.
And I think that's more what she was talking about when she was saying you should have called.
Sure.
Was not, you should have called and bought it, which would have been a pain, where they might not even been able to do. Well, or you should have called and had me set it aside. But just a simple, like, if you need one specific thing, sometimes it's a good idea to call the store just to verify they have it. Like, obviously the solution for us is like, you can buy it on the website.
Right.
And if we have it, you've bought it and
Yes.
it's done, and you can pick it up whenever you want. And we don't have to drop what we're doing if we're helping another customer. We finish what we're doing, and then we look at the transactions and see, oh, we need to pull this for somebody. And then we go grab it. And usually, this is not a guarantee. We usually say it'll be ready within an hour if it's placed during store hours. Otherwise, obviously, it's going to wait till the morning. But I mean, I have had instances where I have had an order ready for pickup within 5 minutes of someone placing it.
I've also had
Sometimes
an
it is
instance
that
of
easy.
somebody place an order, come in and say, "Is my order ready?" And I'll be like, "I don't even know what you're talking about," because I didn't see it because I've been on the sales floor the whole time. So it works both ways.
Yeah.
And a day later, that store is still listed as having it on the website.
Uh-oh.
So it's not even their fault. It's it's whatever
Sure.
website.
I mean, we've had that problem so many times the last few years.
Yes. I mean, it doesn't say like quantity one, but it just in the list of stores that has it.
Sure.
And some of them will say, can be shipped to this store.
Right. Which is another solution to the problem of like, if this was a store that had it and it was farther away, if you had the ability to say, great, send it to the Hallmark store by me.
Yeah.
And I can just go pick it up.
Yeah.
That's helpful too. So it's some of it is also a situation of how Hallmark as a website is not as valuable as you would want it to be.
And it's weird because it's just certain items. It's not everything.
That's very strange.
I could have ordered the silent figure. I could have bought it online. Here's also the dumbest part of the website.
Mm-hmm.
So it's officially the Doctor Who 60th anniversary TARDIS.
Okay.
That's the title.
Yep.
If you search any of those phrases, it doesn't come up. The 10th Doctor or the 11th Doctor comes up. The silent comes up. A TARDIS birthday card comes up. The 10th Doctor ornament that's sold out comes up and says sold out. That TARDIS doesn't come up.
Wow.
The only way you could find it is if you go to Google and search Hallmark Doctor Who 60th Anniversary TARDIS, you can find a link from there to the item, and then that'll take you to the website.
Wow. That's so weird.
So it's not discoverable on the website through any search feature, any search phrase.
It's weird because the one item I would expect that to happen for would be the silent figure, where the second you're not looking at that listing, you just forget about it. You have no idea what you were even doing.
And then there's a line on your face.
What?
So that's just a thing I need to remember when helping people in the future.
Yeah, it's funny that, I mean, that is absolutely a learning experience for how you can change up. I don't want to say improve, but you can be more aware of how a customer interaction works from the other direction. But
I'm not mad at her.
No.
I'm just mad I didn't get my thing.
Right. But I've said a million times over the years
I don't need.
that I have to basically do the exact opposite of what I would want as a customer when I'm helping customers in the store. Like the experience that I've learned over the years that people want is not what I want when I go to a store at all. One
of the things I hate most of all is when you're at a restaurant and you have a server, you've got a busser, someone who gives you water, gives you bread. You have someone who seats you, one person. Then you have someone who gives you water and bread.
Okay.
Or will bring drinks or whatever. That's one person.
Okay.
You have your wait person.
Okay.
That's the person you deal with.
Who takes an order and you say, I want this for dinner.
Right. And sometimes you have a food runner who may be a different person or be the wait person as well.
Okay.
Fine. All that's fine. What I hate is during the meal when the manager comes over and it's like, hey, folks, how's everything?
How's everything? Are we treating you okay?
Like, you're always in the middle of a conversation. You have to stop and be like, what do you want?
Uh-huh.
Like, I have someone if I need something, I have someone else to talk to.
I don't want to have to put on my, polite face to deal with this stranger who's interrupting my meal and conversation.
It's the in-person version of, can you rate this transaction afterwards?
No, I cannot.
Even my doctor, every single doctor visit, hey, you were at Ascension Health. Can you blah, blah, blah? How did your experience go?
Yep.
My experience was way too full of surveys.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. Goodness. What can you do? So now we've got a bunch of things. I was on the Off-Panel podcast this week.
Hey, congrats.
I was also on Contest Challengers this week, but that wasn't as big of a deal.
No, but I don't listen to that one, so I don't know.
I did a bunch of numbers and figures and printouts and things.
Wow.
And you helped with some.
Data.
And none of this got brought up on the podcast.
Ooh, Contest of Challengers exclusive.
That's right. Well,
as long as we're not paying, you're not asking people to pay for this content. It's not beyond a paywall, right? I mean, because that would be absurd.
I forgot about that, but I did want to talk about it. But we'll get to it later.
Okay, cool.
So the thing we did talk about last week is the numbers as far as
products and expenses.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at 2021, our expenses were $11,000 less than our product.
Yes.
If you look at 2022, our expenses were $4,000 less.
Okay.
And if you look at 2023, they're $70,000 more, which is just absurd.
Yeah, it seems. Can I see that real quick?
Yeah. But I'll need that sheet back because we're talking about more of it.
It seems absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting because the differential is that expenses went up $40,000 and product went down $30,000. So it's not like product stayed the same and then we spent $70,000 more in expenses. It's that one went down and the other. Here's the thing with expenses. The
expenses are the same cost regardless of what we have in the store to sell.
And that's the thing. The expenses over the years.
The thing is Ben Grimm, the big rocky guy.
What is this from?
Sometimes he's drawn as just a circle floating above his body.
The Fantastic Four movie. I know what you mean. Yes. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, Benjamin Grimm
Rise of the Surfer.
with his thing ring. Thing ring, do your thing. and all the rocks come flying out and cover his young teenager
I
Benjamin's
feel like
body.
you're talking about Turbo Teen, but that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the expenses
Turns
through
into a boat.
the expenses through the years, they do tick up, and I know why they're ticking up. So it's like when you had said this number to me last week, I was like, that sounds like catastrophic business stuff that I cannot see how that happened. But now I get it more. Like when you see the two numbers, it's bad. It's not good. But like our expenses as a store are kind of never really going to go down unless we make a fundamental change to our business. One of us stops working there. We move the store.
We did make a fundamental change this year.
But that's what I mean, that won't be reflected until the next year, really.
No, it was reflected from...
But not the entire calendar
sure.
year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not $70,000.
no, but again, it's not $70,000 here either. The non-product expenses, the operational costs, were only went up $40,000. So it's the $40,000.
It's still a huge
No,
jump.
it's a lot. But I mean, they go up every year.
Yeah, give this back for a second,
Okay.
or at least just tell us what the difference is between. Don't tell the amounts, but just the difference.
So the amount changed from 2021 to 2022 as far as the operational expenses. They went up $19,000.
Okay.
And then from 2022 to 2023, they went up $40,000.
Okay.
So like it's a lot. It's a huge jump. It's over twice as much as they went up between 2021 and 2022.
But it's not. They didn't go up.
They didn't go up $70,000. It's the product thing is interesting because our product costs went up between 21 and 2022, but between 2022 and 2023, they dropped lower than they were in 2021, which as far as 2023 is concerned, is a very interesting thing because it basically is the kind of proof of like, we're ordering less stuff than we were in 2021 because we are selling less stuff than we were in 2021.
Yep.
While product costs are always going to fluctuate around what we're keeping in stock versus what we're letting go versus new lines we add versus stuff we abandon. A lot of it is just based on the simple calculus of what are people subscribing to and then what are people buying off the shelf. And between 2023 and 2021, there was a huge drop in both of those things. I shouldn't say huge. That's maybe overstating it. But there's a quantifiable drop between rack sales and subscription sales between 2021 and 2023. Because that's the market right now. That's just every store is talking about it.
Yeah.
Every store.
So
thank you for letting me see that, Patrick. That was I liked it, the way you constructed it.
Oh, thank you.
It was very legible. It was very easy to understand. Because again, last week, that number, that $70,000 number is like, I literally, you're like, when you had sent it to me, I'm like, how is that possible? You're like, oh, I can tell you how it's possible. And like, I was already theorizing, like, how do we get to 70? But now seeing it, I'm like, I get it. I get where that number came from.
As far as sale comparisons go, the gross sales for 2023 were 23% higher than 2019.
So I'm sorry, 2023 to 2019?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
We're 23% higher than 2019.
So pre-pandemic.
Yes.
Okay.
39% higher than 2020.
Well, there was about 3 months in there that were not good.
However, we were down 2% from 2021 and down 4.1% from 2022.
Interesting. I would have thought it would go the other way, where we'd be down more from 2021 than we were from 2022. Interesting.
2022 was better than 2021 by
really?
The tiniest of margins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically flat as far as like calculating percentages go.
So now we're going to talk about category differences between 2022 and 2023.
Okay.
Because you only really care about the previous year.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes fun to look at stuff further out and see like the bigger arc of where the industry is going. But as far as like trying to keep your business afloat, you really are only looking at the past year as far as what you're reacting to.
And we're going to talk dollar value, not percentages. In 2023, our graphic novel sales dropped by about $2,300.
Okay.
That's not a ton.
No, I mean, relative to what we do in graphic novels.
Yeah. Back issues were down by $2,200.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because
we do not sell a lot of
back issues.
Here was 22.
Oof.
Here was 23.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yep.
So you don't want to talk percentages? You want to talk raw numbers?
I didn't do
We
percentages.
can guess.
That's why.
Sure. I can.
I mean-
I can get my phone out and do the math if you want.
If you want to do the math.
Yeah, sure, man. I think I know how to do this.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna. Well, Dal, here's my pencil. If you want to, but if you want to do them all right now, so we can just get back to them as we go,
Sure.
because I'm going to take a minute to talk about some spending trends, financial trends for the year as a whole. And I've got two separate articles to reference. One is from Matt Ott from the Associated Press, dated December 20th of 2023. The conference board, a business research group, the conference board. I thought it was going to define more what that is. That's why I paused. The conference board said Wednesday that its consumer confidence index rose for the second straight month to 110.7 in December from 101 in November. That's much better than analysts' forecasts of 104.5 and the highest reading since July. So Americans' expectations of a recession in the next 12 months declined to the lowest level so far this year. The Consumer Confidence Index, it measures both the assessment of current economic conditions and the outlook projected for the next 6 months. So that means the short-term expectations for income and job market growth shot up to 85.6% from 77.4% in October, and that's a pretty significant jump. It's the first time in 4 months that it's been above 80, and a reading below 80 for future expectations historically signals a recession within a year. But that's not what we got. And the write-in responses that people gave to the survey indicated that rising prices are still the consumer's top concerns. But it also showed that modest increases in consumers' intent to purchase homes, autos, and appliances, and to spend money on vacations was a factor. Americans unexpectedly picked up their spending at retailers from October to November, which actually I think bears fruit with us. As the unofficial holiday season kicked off, that's not true for us at all. Retail sales rose 0.3% in November from October, when sales fell 0.2% according to Commerce. So all that is saying that there's actually consumer confidence in an economic future as far as what kind of money they think they're going to have to put back into a retail community. And then from Axios.com on December 21st, Felix Salmon, not Salmons, Salmon, talked about the misery index, the sum of the unemployment rate and the inflation rate is ending at 6.8, and that's the lowest point since the pandemic hit in March 2020. It's well below the 8.3 average for the century to date. Why does that matter, Dal, you're asking?
I am asking. I keep asking it. Why won't you tell me?
Unemployment and inflation are the two great causes of real economic misery rather than vibe-based misery. The bottom line with that is the double whammy wrought by COVID-19 and then a huge rise in inflation seems to be over. Both indicators reverting to low levels indicative of, ready for this?
I'm ready.
A healthy economy.
Uh-oh. I mean, yay.
So at this point in the year, economic forecasts and consumer confidence are both higher than expected and also expected to grow. So
That's great.
all of the, people can be like, oh, it's a recession is coming and worried. The general consensus is not only is it not coming, but we're past the point of worrying about it.
Great.
And that, on paper, is excellent news. These numbers are small,
Right.
Small positive things, but together that shows like a very positive sign. And these are all factors we don't normally. You can hold on to that to talk about it if you want.
Okay. I don't know if you wanted to back.
These are small things that I think indicate a much greater outlook.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, not always, but I mean, there's been positive macroeconomic stuff over the last year or so, in ways that have kind of felt at odds with how people's lived existences. And I don't know that this changes my mind on that. Like, that's one of the talking points economically over the last 6 or 7 months is that people keep feeling like everything's really bad. And economists are like, it's actually really good. And the disparity of like what the data is saying and what even surveys are saying versus what people are feeling is kind of hard to really understand, I guess.
But if everybody is running around saying the sky is falling,
Right.
and everyone hears that and thinks, oh my God, the sky is falling, if somebody just says, hey, look up, the sky is still there,
Mhm.
I think that will go a long way in being like, oh, wait, I can see it's not
It
actually
is.
falling.
And I mean, a lot of capitalism and the American economic system is honestly based on people's perception. People spend when they feel like money's good, and they don't spend when they feel like money is bad. And oftentimes those things aren't based on what's in your bank account or what you're bringing home in a paycheck so much as how you feel like things are going.
Ultimately, what I'm saying is nobody worries more about the economic future for our business than I do.
Correct.
So much so that I'm looking at Axios
Sure.
and I'm looking at Associated Press articles.
Sure.
And if there's something here that gives me hope and makes me feel positive,
That's great. Yeah.
I kind of love it.
Yeah. I mean, certainly the hope for a lot of stores going into 2024 is that people's economic anxieties abate a bit and they feel confident spending money on things that are not crucial to their living.
I feel confident on everybody spending more money on comics.
I love it. Comics are good. Good week for comics. So do you want to hear these percentages?
No, I just want to go dollar amounts.
Okay, cool. Do you want cents as well? Just cents?
Can someone make sense of any of this?
Do you want to make everything in specifically cents?
So, all right, do graphic novels, then skip new comic. We'll do new comics at the end.
You got it. So graphic novel dollar amount sales between.
No, I'm just joking. I wanted the percentages.
Between 2022 and 2023, we dropped 1%.
Do you know where we dropped it? Can we go pick it up?
I assume it was
Dropped it off at the pool.
in these two hands. That is a visual gag for Patrick that other people can find out when they come into the store or watch a video on Tuesday night. Back issue sales dropped 36%. That was the reason why when you said the two numbers, I'm like, I got to know what percentage it is because it sounds really high. And
Yeah.
it is.
Also, back
36%.
issues are the most labor-intensive part of our store. And that is why I proposed the possibility a few episodes ago of getting rid of them.
Liquidating them in a serious way. Supplies dropped 4%.
Fine.
Our clothing category, which includes T-shirts, posters, pins, wearables. I'm sorry, T-shirts, pins, buttons.
Yes.
Wearables.
Anything wearable.
You can wear a poster, but we do categorize it differently. Wearables dropped 5%. Posters, which are posters and prints, and like the Hello Kitty, Tom Kelly paintings, dropped 16%.
Yep.
Sizable drop. But nothing compared to toys, which dropped 30%.
Yep.
Between 2022 and 2023.
Oh, yes.
This was so one of the big things that
look at that drop.
It's huge.
That solves all of our problems right there.
Yeah, it's huge. It is.
Imagine if we took that drop number and just gave it right to Penguin Random House.
Let me describe this number, this drop in the toy category in a different way.
How many Transformers is it?
If we like this drop between 2022 and 2023 in our toys category is roughly almost half of our entire drop for the year.
Yep.
Which is it has made us drastically reapproach how we stock and sell toys. We shifted away from one of our toy vendors because they required us to pre-order all of our Hasbro product a year in advance. And with how much this is dropping, we cannot afford to order that way. We have to be able to say, this is the set of toys. This is what we're selling right now today. These are coming out in a couple months. This is what we're going to order. The idea of ordering stuff for like fall and winter of 2024, I would order nothing right now.
We are not a big box retailer who is used to doing that as a form of business.
Yeah. Cannot do
how
it.
many stores right now are ordering their holiday 2024 product?
I mean, a bunch of them are probably. But yeah.
If they haven't already.
Look, I mean, if we had a logistics division because we were like Target and Walmart, yeah, absolutely, sure. but we're two guys who own a comic shop in Chicago. We have to be able to be more flexible with our ordering because it is very, very important to our business to not have all this money committed to things that we end up finding out the market has disappeared for. So that was bad. Also bad, card games and games, which is Magic cards, Pokemon cards, Dungeons and Dragons, dice, games as a category, dropped 27%.
What makes that number even more staggering is this is a year that Magic increased their output.
Mm-hmm.
So there were considerably more offerings of Magic cards in 2023 than there were in 2022.
Yeah. What's interesting to me, though, is that while these categories dropped, what I'm also looking at for 2022 to 2023 is a drop in what we paid out for product, which I feel like is us also looking at these two categories and ordering less for them because less stuff is selling.
Yeah.
So while it's bad that they dropped, it doesn't necessarily correlate to us having a ton of extra games and stuff. In fact, if you come into Challengers and look at our card game section, it's going to look pretty barren.
Yeah, so for Pokemon, one of the things that we've shifted in is all we carry are boosters and maybe one or two ETBs.
Mm-hmm.
We've stopped ordering all the extra things. Anything in the oversized box packaging, no, we don't
Because
do that
those
anymore.
took forever to sell, and it's just not worth it.
And the biggest problem we have now is that while we were a huge Pokemon hub 2 years ago, orders have caught up to the big box stores. And if you go into Target, Target has 10 times the amount of stuff we have.
ETBs as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
It's nuts. So overall, sales for Challengers and transactions for Challengers between 2022 and 2023 each dropped 4%. That was basically our sales for the year. We are down 4% in both dollar amount in the store, and that includes online. That's just sales for Challengers. And number of transactions, meaning the amount of people who came into the store and bought stuff. Each dropped 4%, which is interesting because it means that the people who are coming in aren't spending less. There's just less people coming in.
The thing is, we've had way more online transactions this year.
I suppose.
So it's less people in the store. And a lot of those online transactions are also people that shop in the store.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, like, it's funny because you look at some of this stuff and it's like, honest to God, like, you could probably break it down and say it's maybe 10 less people a week. But those 10 people are probably regular customers. So it's not just 10 people didn't come in this week and buy a graphic novel or something. So what did you not make? $300, whatever. It's people who didn't come in buying $40 and $50 worth of their weekly stuff or whatever. Like, and that becomes significantly more and adds up over the year. You feel it when you're suddenly making a few $1,000s less a month.
So, Dal, we talked about all the lesses.
We did.
What about the mores?
Let's talk about comic books, which to both Patrick and my surprise, and Patrick's now, as it turns out, scandalous lies to David Harper about the health of the single-issue comic market.
You know what? Not scandalous, just slightly...
I was scandalized by it.
Well,
it's a scandal.
It's
a scandal.
You're very naive.
Okay. Marvel comic books went up 7% between 2023 and 2022.
That's massive.
Yeah, DC went up 3%, and other publishers went up a whopping 1%.
All of our new comic sales...
What looks like a rounding error.
Went up.
Marvel's jump is pretty surprising, considering we, meaning me, constantly complains about Marvel's output and their publishing plans and how scattershot and poorly thought out they feel. And now it's like, no, it went up 7%. So, like, I don't know, keep doing what you're doing, I guess. House of Ideas, after all.
Yeah, and I don't think it's even attributed to the sheer volume of releases.
No, because again, a lot of the books that they release, like the Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2099 weekly 5-issue miniseries, we're ordering less than 10 copies of that, and that's rack sales and subscriber numbers. So, like,
that's the same for every Beast World Tour.
Yeah,
city stop.
Yeah, but the Miguel O'Hara ones sell. Yeah, I mean, for all the complaining, like, the X books are selling great right now. People really seem like they're into Fall of the House of X and Rise of the Powers of 10, and rightly so. I think both books are good. Rise is better. Amazing Spider-Man continues to sell great. Sensational She-Hulk hasn't lost a step. Moon Knight's still selling well. Avengers sells well.
Did you say Amazing Spider-Man?
I did. I think I did. Amazing Spider-Man sells well. And they're managing to put out some hits that I didn't see coming. Like Ultimate Spider-Man for us sold significantly better than we anticipated.
Here's my Ultimate Spider-Man rant.
Patrick,
and this
do you
is,
have a gripe about that?
This is one of those things that you can't win for losing, or you can't lose for winning, whichever one fits better.
Everyone's working for the weekend, I think is how the expression goes.
Everyone's watching to see what you will do. Everyone's looking at you.
Whoa, here she comes.
Everyone's wondering, will you come home tonight? Everyone's trying to get it right.
Patrick, what was your complaint about Ultimate Spider-Man number 1?
Do we now have to pay for that?
I don't know.
That was an homage.
Let's ask you, Van Ostel.
So, Ultimate Spider-Man. Great book.
Yeah.
Sold so well for us that this is the second day of release and we're out.
Yeah, and that's all the covers, I think.
We're out of everything.
We ordered a restock. We were able to order a restock of one of the covers.
One cover that was available.
Yeah, the Nick Klein
but
cover.
Here's the problem.
So we're getting some more copies back in. So if you're listening to this and you're a regular shopper at the store and you're like, God, I want to try that book out. It sounds like it's really good. If you come in like Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll probably have copies again. Check our website.
This is the dumbest thing to complain about, but this is a Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto book. Once you know that and that it's Ultimate Spider-Man, you know if you want it or not. We had a sizable number of club members sign up for it, but the number of subscribers that picked it up off the shelf,
people who have a subscription at Challengers, but they don't have a subscription to Ultimate Spider-Man,
didn't ask for it ahead of time, that really messed up our numbers for two reasons. One, we look at subscriber numbers and think that's what we have in subscription, so everything else we order is going to be for the shelf.
Yeah. So if people order 20 copies, pre-order 20 copies of the first issue of a Marvel series, we think, okay, and then we kind of come up with a number. But if people pre-order 40 copies, we think, okay, and then we come up with a higher number.
Yeah, we would have ordered significantly more, not just to cover the extra subscriber copies, but because of the confidence people had in it.
Yeah, but like, and
we didn't order a low number; we ordered a high number.
And the additional rack copies that we order are not like a set figure, so it's not like if we were ordering 20 copies for subscribers and we said, okay, well, 20 for the rack, and then if we got 40 subscribers, we wouldn't order 20; we would order 40 copies for the rack.
Yeah.
We'd be like, there's definitely demand here. So the more subscriber numbers we get becomes a multiplier on what we order for the shelf.
When you don't subscribe to a book, you're telling us you don't have any confidence in it, and you're telling us that we shouldn't have any confidence in it selling either.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. If it's a book you're not sure of, or you don't know what it's about, or you don't know who's involved, fine.
Yeah, I get
but
why
everybody
people don't
who
pre-order.
grabbed Ultimate Spider-Man off the shelf bought it not because they read a review that morning or because they didn't know about it. Like we couldn't have promoted that book any higher if we had painted the entire building.
The exact
cover
phrase
of
that we usually hear in that scenario is, "Oh, I meant to order that."
Yeah.
So it's clear that there was intent. They just didn't do it. Because Pine and Merrimack. I don't know if you've heard of this book. I don't know if the title's familiar to you. Pine and Merrimack by Kyle Starks.
If somebody said it a few more times, it might stick in my head.
Is a fantastic series, and we were really excited about it. But I completely understand why a lot of people might not pre-order it.
Yes.
It's a new property at a smaller publisher. It's a thing that we have to hand sell. That's our job. I get it. I'm happy to do it.
We love doing it, and the number of people that, when they heard our pitch, were like, yeah, I'll pick that up, sure. But those are people that didn't know this existed,
right?
And we talked them into it.
We had to introduce them to the concept and explain why it was appealing to them. Ultimate Spider-Man feels like it has a few things right in the title that tell you whether or not it's for you.
We didn't pitch it to anyone.
No.
If you brought it up, we're like, this book is excellent, you made a good choice.
Yeah.
But we didn't go out of our way to tell anybody day of.
Yeah, we weren't putting it in people's hands on Wednesday saying, like, you can't miss this one.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad, because we sold out anyway, and then we would have had a bunch of people coming in later in the day who didn't get a copy.
Now, you could say, well, you guys talked it up in your video the night before.
Nah.
There's plenty of books we
that.
talk up in our video. For example, Action 1061. Did you talk that up this week?
I may have.
You
I
did.
Don't remember.
I did too.
Maybe we sold out of that by now. I haven't looked at the sales figures, but on Wednesday it was not exactly catching fire.
So only I can complain about us selling out of a book.
Why?
No, I'm not saying I have permission. I mean, I can take a very positive thing and be like, here's why it's pissing me off.
It's a thing that I sometimes am also aggravated by, and I always feel internally a little hypocritical about it, because I will frequently complain about how poor rack sales are for most books, how everything just becomes subscription only. So then it's hard to be like, but no one subscribed to this book. Like, well, what do you want? Do you want rack sales or do you want subscriber sales?
But the problem is those aren't rack sales. Those are subscriber sales that they didn't know were subscriber sales.
I suppose.
And how many of those people are going to forget to subscribe to it for number 2?
Well, there were a lot of people who did the like, I thought I was down for this, or I meant to subscribe, and it's like, all right, I will sign you up. And then also, while you're standing in front of me,
there's no conceivable way somebody could have been down for it, because it's nothing we would have copied over from.
No, I think I don't think they mean in the sense of like, you didn't pull this for me.
Okay.
I think when people say that, most of the time what they meant to say was, I meant to subscribe for that. And yeah, exactly. And then they go away angry and I can't do anything about it. Yeah, I don't think they meant in the sense of like, this was a mistake on Challenger's part. It's more that they're trying to obfuscate their own culpability in them not getting a book for their own pride.
And if you are a subscriber who's listening to this, who picked up Ultimate Spider-Man #1 off the shelf, and I'm making you feel bad, I hope I've explained why.
I just hope you enjoyed the book.
It's so good.
It's so good. I'm curious.
It's not even Spider-Man in it, and it's so good.
But that's the thing. Anytime it's that
I don't even want Spider. I just want Peter Parker's life story book.
I always wonder how sustainable that is over the long term. Essentially, how long does it stay unique before it just gets flattened out into a Spider-Man story? And I mean, it's Jonathan Hickman, so I feel like we have a lot of runway.
As shows up.
He showed up in the first issue.
Well, there you go.
Oh no, he showed up before Spider-Man did.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
The club isn't just for your benefit; it's for our the reason.
It is the data that we need. Like so much when we're doing orders and stuff, because we order non-returnable, we need as much feedback as possible from readers and customers. We need that, even if it's just a thing where you're at the front counter and you see a picture of an upcoming book and you go, "Oh, cool, that looks great." We will file that away.
That is feedback that we need.
We will be like, "Oh, that one person volunteered that they were excited about a book." So if you are someone who shops at a comic shop, I don't even just mean Challengers customers. If you're someone listening to this,
I mean Challengers.
Patrick only means Challengers, and other stores can go to hell. I care about the industry because I am an outgoing, gregarious, thoughtful person. It's been said so many times. That if you go to a shop, if you shop at a comic store, give them feedback. Let them know what you're excited about in comics, upcoming stories, spin-offs, whatever. Even if it's just artists that you like variant covers by, let them know that, because they need that information. And we try to have conversations with all of our customers. We put it in our goddamn name. But I can't ask everyone about everything. And there's probably things I wouldn't even think you were interested in unless you tell me that you're interested in them. So please, we want to hear this stuff. I want to hear what people think about the comics they're buying and the comics they haven't bought yet. I want to know all that. So please volunteer it.
That is the thing I talked to David about, how I feel. Again, we said this like last year. I feel like there's no comic chatter.
No. I mean, especially now that Twitter's imploded. Like,
I meant in our store.
But I mean, in general, like that's the sort of stuff like blogs,
yeah, but
Twitter. I was never on social media. I get it. But that stuff gets repeated on blogs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like comics journalism. But that's all dispersed now. So there's no sense of
the Comic-Con International doesn't.
They don't acknowledge that as award-worthy.
Eisner body doesn't acknowledge journalism as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There have legitimately been some recent image books where we've had no subscribers signed up for it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've ordered 0 for the shelf.
Yep.
And only one point has somebody said, "Oh, do you not have this book?"
Mm-hmm.
Only one of them. And I get it. If it's an unknown property and you haven't heard anything about it, you want to pick it up and look at it on the shelf.
Sure.
I understand that. It's just a sad truth that isn't the market that we live in now.
Sure. I mean,
and also, Ultimate Spider-Man is not that book.
Right. And I mean, gets back to my constant harping criticism. If you, as a publisher, want to see these books on the shelves, make them returnable. If I'm not hearing things from customers because they don't know what this book is, and I've got to order it non-returnable, unless I have absolute confidence in the work because I've read it, I know who they are, I can see an audience for it, I know I want to hand sell it, then I'm probably not even going to order it for the shelf. And not, even though I can read a bunch of PDFs, not everything works for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to stick my neck out on something that I can't hand sell that no one's asking me for. That is a perfect storm of me not wanting to stock a book. So you make it returnable, and it's like, well, there's no risk to me. I'll give it a try. We'll see if there's an audience. This gets back, the whole conversation about this gets back to something that I know Boom did really well when Lumberjanes was coming out. They did a little online coupon that fans who were hearing about this book could print out and bring to their store that had order codes that said, sign me up for Lumberjanes.
Yeah.
And we had people do that. And I mean, we were excited anyway. We did an exclusive cover for it. We had Nate Stevenson out. We were excited about it as a whole, but I'm sure a lot of stores that weren't even going to carry that book that had someone they've never heard of and never seen before come in and bring in this little coupon saying, I want to get Lumberjanes. So they went, okay, we got to carry Lumberjanes now. Rainbow Rowell, I know, has done stuff where she's asked fans of hers to go to stores and sign up in advance for She-Hulk or Runaways, because that's the thing that tells stores that there's demand.
When you're activating your fan base, that definitely helps.
Sure. I mean, on the other hand, it shouldn't be a necessity for someone like Rainbow Rowell to tell her fans, please go order this, because otherwise no store is going to carry it.
If you look at the Time Traveler Tales from Dark Horse, written by Dave Scheidt, but also in conjunction with, I forget his name, the very popular viral person who has millions of followers online, that's not translating to people coming into our store looking for that book.
Nope.
And we have a close personal relationship with the writer.
Yep.
Just not the creator part of it.
Sure.
I wanted to make a quick point about the returnability aspect. There's some companies that would do you order 10, it's returnable.
Right.
And on the one hand, we're like, we can do that, but it's like, we're not going to sell 10.
Yeah, there's times where we've not taken part because we honestly felt like it'd be wasteful to the company.
Yeah.
But they're not going to make any money off of us doing this, so we're not going to take advantage of it.
And then they do if you want number 2 returnable, you have to order 9.
Yeah, you have to order 90% of what you ordered for issue 1 if you want issue 2 to be returnable. And that's, again, if we don't think we can hit those numbers, we'll just order what we think we can sell.
This always comes back to me, but we used to have a rule 10 years ago that if we weren't ordering 5 copies of a book for a shelf, we shouldn't order it at all.
Which, I mean, the math of that still bears out.
Oh, yeah, but the point is, if that was the case, we would have...
Shelves would look pretty empty.
30% less.
Whole lot of Marvel books you wouldn't carry, and Marvel went up for the year. And I mean, that, again, for the Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man Weekly series, because it's weekly and because we had to order every single issue before issue 1 even came out, I ordered a minimal number of copies for the shelf, but they sold. And they'll probably sell for all 5. We probably won't have any for the back issues, which is the goal of nearly every sequential comic series, is for us to sell out within at least a few months of the final issue coming out. That's great. If everything can be gone by 2 months after it comes out, perfect.
Perfect world.
That is the goal every month I order.
I want to point out that I was just folding this paper, and I deliberately held it over the microphone because I want to hear how loud it is later.
Oh, wow.
So if anybody heard that real loud, I did that on purpose. We had more numbers and...
data talk?
Yeah, but we'll say that for next week.
Okay, cool.
I did want to point out we have one major rack change at the store that has been implemented this week.
That's right.
And that concerns incentive covers.
Yes.
Incentive covers being any of the 1 in 10, 1 in 25, 1 in 50
What's
covers.
Also known as a ratio variant.
Yes. Incentive ratio variants, they no longer live on the regular comic wall. When they're new for the week, they'll be on the new release wall in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that week is over, where do they go, Dale?
They'll go into the incentive variant, ratio variant boxes in our back issue section. So if Batman 141 has a 1 in 25 variant, the week it comes out, it'll go on the News Week rack. Previously, the next week, it would have gone in the stack of Batman comics on our large comic wall. Now it's just going to go in a box alphabetically with all of the other incentive and ratio variants.
And where are those again?
In our back issue section.
Where are the back issue section?
The upper left-hand corner.
The first 4 boxes. Now, our back issues are $1.99.
Correct.
The incentive ratio variants are not back issues, technically.
Priced as marked.
They are priced as marked. So each one is priced individually, and that is the price they are. They are not $1.99. The boxes indicate that. I know that we're going to be courting trouble for people because now there's so many more boxes.
We have had ratio incentive variants overstock essentially in that section for a while, and I'm sure there's been a couple times where it's been like hey, did you know this was $15? But in general, I don't think anyone's really noticed or cared enough. The good news is all of the $1.99 back issues are also priced.
Yeah,
they have
true.
a $1.99
That's
price
true.
sticker. So if you look at either one of them, you'll know exactly which one is which, even if they get misfiled or you don't see the sign on the front of the box.
And both of those, ratio variance, incentive variance, count as one,
Mm-hmm.
and back issues, count as the other for the both, will be 25% off at our yearly I Love You But I've Chosen Comics 25% off store-wide sale, of which we are making one major change to the sale, 25% off virtually everything in the store except held merchandise, meaning subscription books.
Right.
Except,
or anything that was put aside before the sale.
Yep.
So if you came in the day before and said, put this aside for me, like
it won't be on sale.
It won't be on sale.
Anything listed as new this week will not be on sale.
Which, interestingly, the sale this year runs, it always runs the 7th to the 13th. So it starts on a Wednesday this year and runs to a Tuesday. So basically, when you come in Wednesday, everything you see in the New This Week section for that week is the stuff that's not on sale.
Yeah, it doesn't reset
It
midway
won't
through the
change
sale.
over.
Now, if you spend $100 after discount
Or more.
after
You
discount
can always spend more.
before tax, you earn a free sale shirt.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we're really sticking to a rule that we let slide for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's always been an internal rule, but we haven't really publicized it a lot or enforced it super hard. And financially, we can't really afford to keep bending the rule.
Yeah, we spend thousands of dollars on the shirts during a sale where we're already losing
25%.
50% of our
Profit. Minimum. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on what you get, we could be losing a lot bigger percentage of our profit.
So you only earn the shirt on sale merchandise. That means if you're a subscriber who has 2 months worth of books and you buy that during the sale, that does not count toward the sale total. That does not count toward your t-shirt total.
Right.
You only earn the shirt if you spend over $100 before tax and after discount on sale merchandise.
Yeah, so if you have $80 worth of subscription stuff waiting for you and then you toss on like a $40 graphic novel, you have still not qualified for the sale t-shirt, even though your total is now over $100. Nope. It's got to be on sale merchandise. So again, if you come in for your subscriptions, $80 worth of stuff, you still got to find like, I think at least $150 worth of stuff on the sales floor to qualify for the sale t-shirt. Or you can not qualify for the sale t-shirt and you just buy whatever you want.
What is the retail amount? This is a calculator question again.
Okay.
What is the retail amount you have to spend to get to $100 after the discount? It's not just $125.
Yeah, I had it and then it just kind of disappeared on me. Like $135.
So if you spend, if the cover price of what you're buying is $135, that'll get you to the sale discount.
The sale t-shirt.
The sale t-shirt, sorry. Yeah. So it's a big rule. It's a rule that's always been a rule. We just haven't done a good job of enforcing it.
Right.
But when you add up the number of shirts, we're basically just giving away.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, these shirts are not cheap.
Yeah. To put it bluntly, the sale t-shirt is an incentive to get more than you normally were. It's not just a gift for getting what you were already getting.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to describe it. We don't have the design for the shirt yet, but I was talking to the artist this week. They are hard at work on it, and they very adorably said, I'm working on our shirt right now.
We should be, hopefully, Patrick, you and I, putting up all the sale stuff in the store as far as flyers and banners and stuff next week.
But we don't have the art.
We can do it without the art. We'll
Okay.
just put a question mark where we would normally put the sales shirt design.
I did a mock-up of it with our backup design, but I don't want people to think that's the design.
No,
so I didn't
just
do it.
put like a question mark and like shirt design to be revealed at sale. It's fine.
Okay.
The main thing is to be putting on the banners that say sale, 25% off the dates. So if you want to look at those banners the next couple days and tweak them whatever you want, and then we'll go.
The middle banner is the huge shirt one.
Maybe not. And then we'll do those hopefully for Wednesday morning pickup.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
You don't know who the artist is.
I don't. It's true.
I do.
I want people to know that I genuinely do not know who the shirt design is by. In years past, Patrick and I have collaborated on these things, but since Patrick is A, far more outgoing, B, more artistically inclined, and C, I'm just lazy.
Well,
he will line this stuff up. Like, he will have in his mind who it should be, and he'll do the legwork. He'll contact, if this is someone we don't even know, he'll contact them, he'll work it out, he'll do all the back and forth, he'll look at the designs. It's very much a Patrick project.
Well, here's the thing. This person is a fill-in person, which is almost a disservice to them, because had somebody...
I would say they were saving us.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm going to put it that way.
For
Not
sure.
a fill-in, they are saving us.
We had somebody who committed to doing it, and...
With artists, sometimes they commit to things, and then they sometimes forget they committed to things.
I'll be honest, I think we actually revealed who it was months ago on the podcast, but we're not going to name names now, because they didn't follow through, and we'd even had a conversation since then with them saying, yeah, no, I know I have to do it. But then they also pointed out, like, it's
happened before.
5 stores they're doing shirts for.
Oof.
So we had a backup design ready just in case, because we're not novices. We expected this to happen.
Fool me once, et cetera, et cetera.
But then I was talking with somebody who had just out of the blue said, hey, how's business? Like, yeah, it's not great. They said, how can I help? And I'm like, actually,
funny.
How would you feel about designing a shirt?
How are you doing it at Shirt Designs?
And before I even went into detail, they said yes.
Amazing. I'm excited to find out who it is at some point.
So here's the thing. Are we doing a disservice to the customers, to the artist, and to the sale by not saying on the window, T-shirt by this person to be revealed later?
2 things. So, 1, if we don't have the design, we don't have the design, and we have to start promoting this thing.
Right.
At this point, we are like 3 weeks out. We have to start telling people. 2, God love whoever they are. The most important thing about the sale is the discount. The shirt is a bonus to get people to buy more. And here's the main thing. It's just a switch out banner. I mean, we can put up a question mark banner, and then if they get us to design the next week, I'll print up a new banner. It's fine. Banner's easy to replace. I've done it before.
Last year, the shirt was by Casey Iris. She knocked it out and did it in a couple of days, and it went over very well.
Yeah.
People don't necessarily know who Casey Iris is.
No.
This person is well known and very well known to challengers.
Wow, it's Taylor Swift? Amazing. I can't believe she reached out to you like that. That's great.
She just cares.
That is her reputation.
Also, with this artist, they said, do you want to see my pencils or do you want to see it when it's done? And I said, every other time I want to see pencils. For you, you can just finish it. I trust you.
Boy, I hope that doesn't come back to haunt you.
Right? I can't
What could go wrong?
How it big. Unless it's just a giant throbbing cock that's ejaculating a heart that says I love you and I've chosen comics. That's a riff on a legitimate tattoo design I've seen.
Look, Patrick, I'll be honest. I don't know that I would veto that design. I think it would get some interest. I think we'd do okay with that.
It's the Hung Bucks.
Yeah.
It's the Hung Bucks design.
The one that the Dark Order owns?
Exactly. So yes, the sale's coming up, and we're enforcing that one rule. But
otherwise, everything's the same.
I guarantee you, the shirt's going to be so good, you're going to want to spend the extra money to get to it.
And look, I mean, I can look at sales figures that say that people bought less than they did over the last year, and there's less people who've been buying stuff. So I hope 4% more of you come in for the sale and buy stuff. I know you can. You didn't get it from us.
Thanks for buying sale books.
And keep reading sale comics.
Okay, I just told Dal who's doing the shirt, and what did you say?
What did I say?
You said, "Oh yeah, good job. I trust them too."
I do. Yeah, no, I absolutely do. Like, I would also not want to see or not need to see a sketch of the design because I hearing the name, I'm like, oh, they're gonna knock it out of the park. Yes, absolutely. Yes, yeah. I'm on board with this T-shirt now. Before I wasn't going to promote the sale at all because I felt like I in good conscience I couldn't possibly. But now that I know, I can tell people you absolutely should come into the sale. You should spend more than $100 on sale product after discount before tax because the shirt you're going to get is going to be so good.
This is honestly a creator that I'm embarrassed we haven't asked yet.
At this point, honestly, I feel like it was somebody who we probably would not be able to get to do a shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why we never asked them, because we thought they were
they reached
out of our reach.
To have a conversation that you could then say, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is very lucky for us, and lucky for people who shop at our sale.
Yeah, more lucky for you.
Yeah.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. And help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.